From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back. It's just about 6:30. Good morning. I'm Julie Watts.
And I'm Devin Fehely. Let's begin the second half hour with an update on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, which you are seeing live right now. Repair work on that bridge could continue for up to a few weeks. Right now, one lane of the westbound upper deck is closed so crews can install steel plates. That lane is expected to reopen about a half hour from now. The bridge, a part of Interstate 580, was completely closed for hours earlier this week after chunks of concrete fell from the upper to the lower deck. Caltrans says a faulty expansion joint is to blame for the falling concrete. It is not clear what caused the expansion joint to fail, whether it's just normal wear and tear or perhaps a big truckload. Caltrans says the plan is to do all of the repair work during the late night hours to prevent any disruption to the busy commute period. As many as 4 suspects remain at large this morning after an armed bank robbery and violent crime spree in Pleasanton. The robbery happened about 10:40 yesterday morning at a Wells Fargo branch on Hopyard Road. Police say a short time later, shots were fired at an officer in a nearby neighborhood from what's believed to be the suspect's SUV.
Shots fired. Copy, shots fired.
The patrol car was hit at least 3 times in the hood, front grille, and windshield. One officer had minor injuries.
It was rapid gunfire and multiple guns. You could tell it was different caliber. And it lasted a matter of maybe 15, 20 seconds, and then you heard screeching tires.
The patrol car broke down during the pursuit, allowing the suspects to get away. Now, the suspect's vehicle was described as a white GMC Yukon, but that vehicle was later found near Mirwood Drive in Hillview Court, where a Honda CR-V had been carjacked. And a man is in custody after a 12-hour standoff with police at a restaurant in Campbell. The incident began yesterday morning at a Denny's on Bascom Avenue near the Prune Yard. The suspect eventually surrendered, and a police dog helped Campbell officers with the arrest. Investigators say it started when the man argued with a maintenance worker in the parking lot, then threw coffee at him and threatened him with a gun before going back inside the restaurant. Everyone else was able to evacuate that restaurant safely.
Well, the federal team is now on the ground in San Francisco investigating this week's fiery gas line explosion. They want to establish a timeline to find out why it took more than 2 hours to shut off the gas. 8 NTSB members are collecting evidence and doing interviews along with the FBI. No one was hurt in Wednesday's explosion near Geary Boulevard and Parker Avenue. It caused major structural damage, though, to 2 buildings there on Geary. The NTSB says it now has a key piece of evidence.
Another thing that we were able to get today is we were able to secure 3 to 4 feet of the pipeline that we may be sending back to our lab in DC for further evaluation.
The crew that struck that gas line had been hired by Verizon to lay fiber optic cable under Geary.
From bullying to verbal abuse, a new report is raising some troubling questions about what it's like to work at Muni, especially for women. The report says, quote, a number of MTA employees and managers describe bullying and verbally abusive behavior as being tolerated in the workplace. It has been described as a culture of silence. An independent investigator appointed by Mayor London Breed produced the report. The investigator recommends better training, a stronger HR department, and more consistent discipline. The director of the transportation at Muni told us, quote, I concur with the report's recommendations, and we are already putting some of them in place. It goes on to say that making the agency a truly great place to work is one of our strategic goals.
Well, big changes are coming for early bird BART passengers. Monday's service will start an hour later at 5 a.m. instead of 4. There will be shuttle bus service during that 4 a.m. hour. The schedule changes are part of a 4-year, $313 million plan to make seismic improvements to the Transbay Tube. Now, BART has shared this animation showing trains carrying equipment through the tube. During the train project, trains will be single-tracked through the tube on weeknights, so there could be delays during that evening commute.
Hundreds of students staged a sick-out and marched in support of teachers in the Oakland Unified School District. Yesterday's sick-out came days after teachers voted to authorize their union to call a strike if necessary. They're asking for a 12% pay raise over the next 3 years and smaller class sizes.
They do so much for us, and they're not getting compensated, and it's such a struggle.
Regardless of any new contract for anybody, we're making cuts already. So yes, do we have the money to give them everything, the moon? No, we don't.
A teacher's strike could happen as early as February 18th. The district is already scrambling to find substitutes, offering them $300 a day.
Wells Fargo customers are being told they should soon see their paychecks show up in their accounts. This comes after 2 days after the bank experienced a service outage with ATMs and online banking. It happened after workers discovered smoke at one of its data centers. Wells Fargo announced online services are back, but it appears the troubles weren't over yet. Some customers took to Twitter to air their grievances. One said, "Thank you, Wells Fargo, for taking my money and not depositing my paycheck." Another simply said, "Hey, Wells Fargo, deposit my paycheck now."
Until I hear like a definitive, it's fixed, and this was the problem, I'm going to keep doing the personal one-on-one, none of this online or through my computer.
Wells Fargo is extending hours today for branches already open on Saturdays. And the bank says any fees as a result of the outage will be reversed. Wells Fargo released this statement saying, in part, the issue has now been corrected and all transactions are visible. There may continue to be delays in mobile and online banking, and customers should check their balances.
There's some major damage in Yosemite this morning from all of the snow they've been getting. Several hundred trees are down in the valley, damaging dozens of buildings and vehicles. Yosemite got a couple of feet of snow this week. About 150 employees have been forced into temporary housing. Now, this is a time-lapse video from Yosemite Falls earlier this week. It gives you a good idea of just how snowy it's been. And those whiteout conditions are expected to continue in the Sierra this weekend. And in the southern Sierra, 120 people who were trapped in a ski resort cabins for about a week have been rescued. Crews had to plow through 8 miles of deep snow to get to them. This is at the Montecito Lodge in Sequoia National Forest.
The city of Hanoi has been selected as the site for this month's Vietnam summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The president announced in his State of the Union address Tuesday he and Kim would meet February 27th and 28th in Vietnam.
And here's a live look at the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, where a closed lane on the westbound upper deck is expected to reopen shortly. The shutdown is for repair work after chunks of concrete fell onto the lower deck this week. Work could continue for a few weeks, but Caltrans plans to do it during the late night hours.
And scattered showers will continue today. And for the first part of Sunday, the heaviest rainfall tonight will be likely between about 6 and 10 o'clock, widespread rain. Then we get a little break Monday before unsettled weather returns midweek Tuesday into Wednesday. Winter storm warning in effect until 4 o'clock on Monday. We also have an avalanche watch up there. Heavy snow expected 1 to 4 feet, with the highest peak seeing up to 5 feet, and low snow down around 2,500 feet. Could see a little bit of that rain snow mix down here in the Bay Area. A final look at high-def Doppler shows just a few lingering showers over the Bay Area and a little bit of snow up in the Sierra. Some light snowfall there over Tahoe and a couple of snow flurries there over the east foothills. But we are seeing some scattered showers stretching over South San Francisco, across the Bay to Oakland and Lafayette. Those showers will taper off here. The storm scale, moderate to low. We're not looking at a significant storm, but just enough to require you to carry the umbrella today, that we will get some breaks of sun.
All right, well, it's time for us to call it a morning. Thank you for watching KPIX 5 News this morning.